Lemon lime soda, a delicious and zesty carbonated treat that many of us love. When I want a carbonated soft drink to quench my thirst, very few will do the trick quite as well as a ice-cold lemon lime soda. Low in calories as far as sodas go, and clear of food coloring, a lemon lime soda is the perfect sweet treat that is somewhat healthier than your average colas, Mountain Dews, or Dr. Peppers. While it may not be the first choice for those combing the aisles of the many delicious varieties of soda flavors on the market, there's no denying the fact that a lemon lime soda is surprisingly good and extremely underrated. It is surprising how much you find you enjoy the simple blend of lemon and lime flavors when you have the opportunity to drink one. There are many different lemon lime sodas on the market, and there are small but noticeable differences between all of them. Everyone probably has a preference when it comes to these clear, citrusy beverages. Mine personally is Sprite, but there are very loyal fans to each of the different popular brands of lemon lime sodas. Lemon lime sodas have become an important staple in both American and global cultures over the years, making up 9.5% of sales in global beverage distribution between 2010 and 2015. The very first lemon lime soda created was 7-Up, which was introduced in 1929 and has been extremely popular since, remaining very high in sales. Remarkably, 7-Up has remained popular enough to avoid being purchased or bought out by the tycoons of Pepsi-Co and the Coca-Cola Company. 7-Up prevailed, remaining independent, and is now joined up with the other major independent company, the powerhouse Dr. Pepper, creating a powerful conglomerate that rivals the global staples of Coca-Cola and Pepsi. But with 7-Up's success comes rivalry, as all successes breed competition. Wanting to jump in for some lemon lime profits themselves, the Coca-Cola Company introduced their own zesty concoction with the delicious Sprite brand in 1961, which Coca-Cola executives intended to compete against 7-Up. Sprite was, and remains, a huge success, managing to stay high in sales and relevance for over 60 years. Sprite has established itself as a very recognizable brand, able to stand on its own 2 feet separate from Coca-Cola in terms of its high sales, though still owned and operated by the aforementioned company. Pepsi-Co, bless them, also wanted to grab a piece of the lemon lime soda market share pie. And this is where this video's story begins. Inexplicably, and somewhat hilariously, PepsiCo's lemon lime sodas historically have not succeeded and are typically a colossal failure. Their attempts to compete with 7-Up, and ultimately Sprite, have fallen apart so incredibly and in such disappointing fashion that it is surprising Pepsi even have a lemon lime soda out today. In the time that 7-Up and Coke has had Sprite, with huge success, Pepsi have attempted to replicate the success with 7 different iterations of a lemon lime soda brand. 7 times! And that isn't including the returning drink flavors. This is just incredible. Let's take a look at their colossal and epic failure together, shall we? Pepsi's first attempt at bringing a lemon lime soda to the masses was in the form of Team. Team was released in 1959 by Pepsi, predating Coke's 1961 Sprite release in the States. Though Coke had started selling Sprite-branded products in non-US countries earlier, also in 1959. Team was originally going to be called Duet for some reason, but in the planning stages, they switched the name to Team. Team was sold in the US and Canada for 24 years. It was discontinued due to declining sales in the early 80s, resulting in permanent discontinuation by 1984. There were reports of fountain machines carrying the beverage into the early 1990s, however. Nonetheless, Pepsi's first of many victims has fallen, killed by competition, due to the very strong lemon lime champions of 7-Up and Sprite. Team had not even lasted 25 years before it was vanished from shelves. Pepsi's second crack was actually quite a solid attempt that gained a loyal fan base. Slice, introduced in 1984, was Pepsi's answer to Team's low sales. With a fresh look and marketing the drink towards younger customers, Slice quickly became very popular. Plus, Slice had something its rivals did not, that set it apart. 10% juice. With a fresh added kick, thanks to real juice, Slice became quite the popular drink in the 80s. It even sold well enough to warrant some spin-off flavors, and the lineup was expanded to include mandarin orange, apple, and even cherry cola flavor variants. This was certainly not something 7-Up or Sprite had received, a whole fleet of side flavors, making it a full-on brand. Slice seemed destined for greatness. Surely it would take its place in the Hall of Fame for lemon lime sodas, up there with the 7-Ups and Sprites of the lemon lime soda world. Right? Right? Wrong. Even the 10% extra juice couldn't save the flavor. Because their market share began decreasing rapidly, so rapidly that Pepsi-Co could not afford the 10% real juice, and it had to be cut back to just being made with fruit juices. Evaporating rapidly, the side flavors of the brand were first to crash and burn, being discontinued to try to save the main flavor. But alas, in 1998, Slice was phased out by a newcomer. The once promising young champion was officially beaten after struggling with rapidly declining sales since 1988, despite the loyal fan base. And after a short 14 years on the market, the Slice era for PepsiCo was over. It should be noted, however, that in extremely limited regions, Slice was still able to be obtained by as late as 2003. Interestingly, now that Pepsi does not own the trademark to the name Slice, an independent company has picked up the name's rights and is planning a revived Slice brand in the near future, so that'll be something to keep an eye on. However, let's get back to the story of Pepsi's failures. PepsiCo, still trying to replicate the success of their rivals, would introduce their third attempt at a lemon lime soda in 1998, this time going for an eccentric look with a drink called Storm. It was during the late 90s that Sprite actually had overtaken 7-Up's hold over the lemon lime market, as Sprite absolutely dominated the lemon lime soda sales a little before and slightly after the turn of the millennia. It can be speculated that this huge success from their primary rivals prompted PepsiCo's rebranding and revamping of their lemon lime efforts. But Storm's competitive spirit fizzled out very fast. In fact, it never even got out of test marketing, being as it was only available in select large cities in the US, remembered by those fortunate enough to get to try it, or unfortunate enough, remember it for its light fizz, which it was actually marketed for. It also was remembered for a somewhat bitter lemon taste, which was with the aftertaste, this lemony bite. Curiously, Pepsi even included Storm cans in their Star Wars Episode I The Phantom Menace line of collectible cans, alongside Pepsi and Mountain Dew, as well as a couple others. Even though it was never released nationally, they still included it with the Star Wars branding on the cans, suggesting that they did have high hopes for Storm. However, all of Storm's energy was very rapidly depleted, as test marketing apparently went very poorly, and it was all tapped out by 2000, when it was completely pulled in favor of a new contender. Storm only lasted 2 years, which I thought was surely the shortest lifespan of one of PepsiCo's flops, but as it turns out, I was wrong with my assumption. Perhaps the most well-known of PepsiCo's series of failures came next, as their fourth attempt at capitalizing on the lemon-lime fizzy business. This being Sierra Mist, which was first released in 2000. Apparently the name Sierra Mist came from one of their scrap names for Slice, which in early development could have simply been called Sierra, before it was changed to Slice. Sierra Mist's packaging design changed more times than lives were lost in the Yuzhan Vong War. It seemed there were just tons of different designs used. This, to me, at least, indicates sales were falling short of Pepsi's aspiration, so they had to keep changing the look, trying to make it fresh and make it stick. In 2010, after 10 years at the helm, Sierra Mist was replaced with a new contender. This new contender was not too much of a departure from Sierra Mist, as it turns out, but production on Sierra Mist did completely halt in 2010 for the year that Pepsi's fifth attempt at Lemon Lime Glory was made available. This contender being Sierra Mist Natural, which was a completely rebranded and scaled-back design. The minimalistic look on a product, for once, I think actually looked really good. In addition to the rebranding and retitle, the formula was changed to be free of any artificial junk that Sierra Mist had been pumped full of. Sierra Mist Natural apparently was not a hit, however, and by the end of 2010 was completely scrapped. This fifth entry lasted only 1 year. Let me remind you, 7-Up has been available for 94 consecutive years, and Sprite has been available for 62 consecutive years. I mean, this was certainly an interesting experiment by PepsiCo, with a supposedly healthier take on lemon lime soda. But a natural soda being the head of their brand, instead of in addition to the normal flavor, did not sell well. I believe 7-Up has actually successfully replicated what Pepsi-Co tried to do, as they have just released in 2022 7-Up Simple, a scaled-back, better-for-you lemon-lime soda with only 6 natural ingredients. The difference is they didn't discontinue 7-Up to release their natural flavor, instead releasing the flavor in addition to their main flavor. It's crazy how much sense that makes to do it that way, and it's even crazier to think that Pepsi did not take that approach. With apparently super low sales on Sierra Mist Natural, they returned to a formula that apparently had worked decently enough. Reviving their discontinued 4th lemon-lime flavor, Pepsi began selling Sierra Mist again in 2011 with its original formula and a rebranded design, of course, restoring Sierra Mist to its former, well, not glory, but its former status as at least being on shelves. Sierra Mist formula was tweaked slightly by adding stevia to the flavor in 2013, and it did well enough to last another 6 years before something prompted PepsiCo to change their minds again. Introducing their 6th flavor in 2016, Mist Twist, was certainly a curious choice by PepsiCo. I myself remember the commercials on TV that showed off the new flavor and
lemon lime soda with a twist of real juice. It's a crisp, refreshing twist on lemon lime. Insist on the twist.
wondered why. Sierra Mist wasn't that bad. Why bring in this flavor that clearly seems so much like your old one? Well, I was actually proved wrong when I gave it a try. I found it less dry and more sweet, more refreshing. Perhaps the fact that Mist Twist had replaced the stevia with fruit juice, similar to their fallen flavor Slice, was the reason why I enjoyed this new flavor. I can't say for sure what it was, but Mist Twist was the best attempt of the PepsiCo failed lemon lime flavors I have tried. Admittedly, I have only tried 3 of them. Mist Twist was fun. The commercials had a fun energy, and the promotional posters and cardboard cutouts at my store made me just feel excited and energized about the flavor. I enjoyed Mist Twist immensely, but it did not last. Perhaps lower than expected sales once more ended a PepsiCo flavor, as in 2018, after just 2 years of existence, Mist Twist was shelved. Well, shelved by taking it off of shelves. So where did they go after this? What would replace their 6th flop? What would Pepsi do? Well, they couldn't come up with anything creative. So guess what old friend they called on? Their apparently trusty old friend was revived from the clear citrus soda afterlife once again, as Sierra Mist was brought back from the dead for a 3rd reign as Pepsi's lemon lime champ. Sierra Mist's production was scaled back drastically, and for a short while, you could barely find its zero sugar flavor on shelves. And over COVID, Sierra Mist's production was notably rolled back further, and there was a period where it could only be purchased in bottles, with no cans being produced, perhaps linked to the aluminum shortage which occurred over lockdown. I noticed in 2022 that Sierra Mist and Sierra Mist Zero returned in cans at my local stores, possibly, a good sign for the flavor. But PepsiCo had other plans. Unveiling plans in late 2022 for a new successor in 2023, Pepsi had curious, ulterior motives and decided to end Sierra Mist for a 3rd time after a 3rd run that was 5 years on the market. A little side note before I move on to the final flavor is that Mountain Dew Ice existed. Mountain Dew Ice was a caffeinated, clear lemon lime flavored spin-off of PepsiCo's extremely popular Mountain Dew brand. However, I don't consider this lemon lime soda to be a failed attempt by Pepsi at having a lemon lime soda brand, as it did not replace Sierra Mist, but was released in addition to it. Mountain Dew Ice was introduced in 2018 to a huge media promotion, but was instantly rejected by fans upon release, myself included. Perhaps COVID, low sales, hatred by the fans, or some other combination of all of these factors saw Mountain Dew Ice become history when it was discontinued in 2020. Now here we are at last, 2023, and although Sierra Mist can still be purchased for the time being, it is officially discontinued, and will only be available while remaining supplies last. Introducing their 7th lemon lime flavor, PepsiCo unveiled Starry. With a bright, bubbly design, Starry and its zero sugar variant have hit shelves in early January of 2023. I've been able to try it already, and I can say this for it. It's not a bad effort. It sure isn't Mist Twist, but it is tastier than Sierra Mist. Will this seventh attempt manage to be permanent and stick, or will it too fall victim to the curse of Pepsi Lemon Lime sodas? Will Pepsi finally be able to claim some ground in the lemon lime soda wars, or will 7-Up and Sprite continue to dominate the market, leaving Starry to be discontinued and have the last laugh? Only time will tell, I suppose. It will be very interesting to see what happens from here, and when any more news emerges about anything pertaining to this story, by then I'll make an update video. But as of now, this is where our story ends. It is hilariously depressing to me how incompetent Pepsi have been with their attempts. These efforts have just failed again and again. I'm just baffled how they've managed to fail so many times, when Sprite and 7-Up have been staples on the market for decades. All it is lemon lime soda. How can you mess that up? Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know what lemon lime soda is your favorite. And do you guys think Starry will break the mold for Pepsi? Or will it get destroyed by its competition like all of its predecessors? Let me know in the comments.